Sanibonani, sengithi asibonisane lana. There is a situation ezomnotho eSouth Africa zisezingeni eliphansi ever. So we are in junk status. Junk status meaning no country can lend us money. And even if they do, we will be unable to pay them back at the stipulated time and pay them back the amount they wanted. And where does it leave us? It leaves us in a situation where we should be prepared that somebody with more money or financial power will come and take over and dictate to the leaders of the country how they can lead the country, what they must do with the country, what should happen with the people of the country. And the way things are going, it looks like that guy might be China. Chinese people are very hardworking people, strong willed, physically determined. They make up for their small body by having a strong mind. So, and that's how they've managed to conquer the world. And you can see how others did previously. When the English people wanted to conquer us, what did they do? They walked in and taught us their language. You had to know how to speak English. And language is a powerful instrument. They take over. Everything was written in English to this date. We live by that principle that if you speak English, you feel like you're a better person than a person who speaks perfect Zulu. That is part of colonialism. Now, the Chinese have walked in. What did we hear when they walked in? Police must learn Mandarin so they can serve the Chinese people if they need to open cases. How many Chinese were there in South Africa at that time? Less than 100,000. But the whole police force had to learn Mandarin. The next thing, the previous president announced that now at school you're going to learn Mandarin. Why? Because that's your future master. You need to understand the orders from your master. You need to understand when they send you to China with a bag of mealies, what you must do with them, with the donkeys, with whatever. That is slavery coming in again, just a different master. But then the greatest thing is that we surrendered to that. And what did they do? They looked at our weakness, that we are short of money, so they brought a busload of money. You're short of fancy buildings, they brought that. You're short of cheap items, they brought that. With that, they gained more money, they invested, they started expanding their territories, and it looks like they've conquered the whole of Africa, because even the building of the African Union allegedly is from China. So if they have your head office, what is left for you? Just your pride and your identity. So we better prepare ourselves, prepare to be obedient to those masters, or prepare to be at par with them, so you share the power. How do you prepare that? Prepare your wealth. Chinese people, as much as they do go to school, but they learn at home. They learn very young, at a very young age, how to create wealth. So I've been reading some books about creation of wealth. A guy that goes by the name of Bo Sanchez, he wrote a book, Formula of Abundance. Another South African, Become Your Own Financial Advisor, that is Warren Ingram. When I looked at these two books and tried to filter and summarize the message, they all emphasize on a few points. One of it, when they said you want to succeed in creating your wealth, you need to have competence. You need to have conscientiousness. That is, your mind must change. It must think of wealth. Forget about poverty. Forget who was poor in your family, how you were poor last week. Focus on the now and forward. That how are you going to change that? You need to have character. Your character must be so strong-willed that you need to know where to go to find information, where to go to improve your skill, to improve your craft, because we're all born with talent. You just need to nurture that talent, embrace it, oil it, lubricate it, make it look perfect so it can create wealth for you. And to succeed, they said you need determination, you need to delegate, or delegation is part of that, and differentiation. With that, they meant your mind, your brain, your everything must be focused on the goal at hand, that is maximizing your capital, how you improve your wealth, how you create your wealth, how you multiply it, such that nobody in your family should be hungry, nobody in the next generation should be hungry. But to do that, again, you need to have a niche. You need to have something unique about your craft, because there could be many people that have hair salons, but how is yours going to be different? How do you plait that hair? What do you do with the hair if your skill is on doing the hair? If it's on other things, make sure that you nurture the talent, you improve, you look at people who have made it, who've succeeded with a similar talent, see how they do their work. Like, for instance, everybody seems to like to be a comedian these days. Make us laugh. We need that. Laughter is the best medicine, as they say, because even in the darkest days, if you can smile, that's good for you. But then look at successful comedians. How did they get there? Look at Trevor Noah. How did he become the highest paid comedian of South Africa? How did he get there? Because now he's competing with guys who are earning a lot more than South African rand, which is on the collapse these days. How did he get there? Get to know those people. You can read about them, you can access them, look what they post on their social media, look at the books they read, what they share, because that's the path you want to take. So young people, get used to doing that. Don't just copy Trevor as he is. Don't do the same jokes as Trevor. Don't walk the same way as Trevor. Be yourself, but polish up your talent, because your talent is like a blank check written by God, given to you, so you can fill up the digits. In fact, you need to do this. When you start your journey, write the amount of money you want to have in the next 5 years. Put it safe somewhere, that number you've written. After 5 years, go back and check. It's possible that if you've written it, it's in your heart. Then your brain will remind you. Then your actions will try to mix what's in the brain and the heart to execute that action and make sure that you achieve those goals. But then he said, besides the character, the competence, the conscientiousness, differentiation, delegation, and those things, you yourself, you need to be a superstar. When people meet you, they need to believe that you are the best thing ever to happen for that particular role or that particular job. Even if you do the simplest job, but marinate it with your personality. Do something different than others. Even if you are in a job where you all must wear the same uniform, do the same thing every day, but then there has to be personality in how you do your stuff, so that when you're not there, everybody will feel your absence. That, you know what, if she was there, if he was there, things would be different. And that's how other people ended up being the boss's favorite, because the boss, they know that they're getting something out of that guy. They have a vision of their companies, and they can see that this is the guy I need to achieve my vision. The only painful part, most bosses, they like to share the work but not their wealth. So they never give you the money they're having, but they'll give you all the work, they'll give you all the titles that will excite you, that you are executive director, you are deputy director, you are chief supervisor, you are whatever name that you might think of. The name doesn't carry the wealth. It's your brain and your actions that will make your wealth. That title will not rescue your family out of poverty, but it's what you do with the wealth that you earn after that title. So those guys, when I carried on reading their books, they mentioned a principle that I've never paid attention to, that for your wealth to grow and multiply, you need to live in a wealth principle. That is a mind that thinks like a rich person. So when you get money, your principle should be, who can I help with my 10% of that money? The next 20%, invest. Where can I invest? Look at equity funds. Look at fixed deposit. Look at retirement annuities. It doesn't matter that you're 25 today. One day, if you're very lucky to survive the many more pandemics to come, you might be 60. And you'll think that if I started at 25, today I would be a multimillionaire that doesn't have to worry about retirement. You won't be that old person that goes around selling fat cookies or selling something that only brings maybe 10 rands at home or 50 rands at home per day, which is not good enough for anybody. So be a clever person today whilst you're young, and age is at your advantage. Invest, 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 so that by the time you need your money, it has worked itself to a level where you want it to be. In fact, if you invest younger, the money works for you, you don't work harder. But whilst you need to grow your money, of course, you'll have to work for the first few years for the money. And maybe after 5 years, that's when you'll have to stop and let the money work for you till you die. That's the principle we should all be living under. So let's get used to helping other people. You lifting the whole community and the country if with your 10% you dedicate it to the needy. Yilokho esikubiza ngokuthi ukunikela okweshumi. You can take it to your church if you're not a church goer. You can look at the community. Who can you help? How many people can you afford to help? Because my 10% might not be same as the other person's 10%. So let's think widely, let's think wealth, let's think growth of the nation. So the growth of the nation will start by growing your family. Even in families, let's sit down and discuss money. Let's discuss strategies of maximizing the wealth before other nations take us over, because they do those things in their families. Okay, now you are in the process of growing your money. They say avoid making debts. Ikweletu asiyibalekele. Mekuthiwa baleka ngenyawo zombili emasontweni, balekela isikweletu ngaso sonke ispeed ungasi-afforda ukuthi stay away, because isikweletu siyakugqilaza, sikunika a false impression that you can afford. Njengamanje itolo izothi you can open account, asihluphi ngalutho, asidingi lutho, sidinga nje ID number, then you have 5,000 to take whatever you like. It's easy and nice today, and nobody ever sit down with you and tell you that, but you know what, sikunika 5,000 but mungakhokhi next month, ungasakwazi ukukhokha, uvelelwe into ethile u-afford, sizo-eda u-10% lapho, uphinde uhluleke, sizo-eda another one. Usikhokhele, ungakhokha kancane but abakutshela ukuthi khona imali abayifakayo yokumaintain isikweletu sakho, ukuthi nje khona o-admin abasebenza ukulokho bebhala ukuthi usalelwe imalini, bayakhokhelwa nabo, kuya-edwa kuloya 5,000. And when you sit down and look at it in actuality, at the end awusakweletu 5,000, maybe usukweletu 6,500, awubonanga wena. That is pulling you back ngo-6,000 kwiplan yakho yokukhulisa iwealth yakho. So asiyibalekeli ikweletu lezi esingakwazi ukuphila ngaphandle kwazo, like ezey'ngubo zokugqoka namagrosa, akufanele sidle ngesikweletu lezo zinto unless ngempela sekuyi-crisis, kodwa akufanele. Ibalekele i-credit card. I-credit card ifana nje naso lesi sitolo isikweletu sasesitolo, because i-credit card ikunika i-impression yokuthi unemali ungenayo, iyakukhohlisa. Ufika ukudla ucash wakho uqede, usuthi ayi ngoba ngine-credit card kungcono ngizosebenzisa yona kuze kuphela inyanga. Yes, uqinisile, unekhadi awunayo imali. Le mali ekhona eyalo muntu okubhalwe yena ekhadini ngamagama amakhulu. If it's a credit card from a certain bank, leyo mali yebhenki, ibhenki iyajabula misikubona uthepha ey'tolo, uthenga u-anyanisi nge-credit card, uthenga isicathulo nge-credit card, because kuya-reflecta kubona, it's more money for them, ngoba bathole i-interest with each transaction. Na-month end basafaka enye i-interest, uthole ukuthi nakhona ubuqale bethi bakunika u-10,000 yokuthi ungawusebenzisa. Musu-check ukuthi ukhokhe emalini, mhlawumbe ukhokhe u-14,000 back to them. Lo 4,000 obapha wona, it could have been the 4,000 you invest ukuzikhulisa wena financially. So in that sense, awusoze wakhula uyoba isigqila sabo, because the next thing musuhluleka ukukhokha bayakublacklista, awusakwazi ukukweleta, awusakwazi ukubakhokhela, your life becomes miserable, usuzuthi mhlawumbe uloyiwe abantu, kanti no, it's your decisions, it's your strategy that was wrong. Change your strategy. Start today. You don't need to have thousands to build the wealth. Nayo investment, but azizama ukuqhela from trading, but invest. Because u-investor usebenzisa into nayo uyayikhulisa, kanti wa-trading into oyifisayo ofisa ukuthi ngenzeka ibe khona ngenhlanhla, mhlawumbe uyithole ngenhlanhla ungayitholi. Asifuna ukuphila ngenhlanhla, sifuna ukuphila ngento guaranteed ukuthi if I put my 10 rands away, 10 rand low. Enye into, they say never put your big monies kwi-savings account bank because ayenzi lutho, ayikwenzeli inzalo. Enye into, iyehla i-capital yakho ngoba amabhenki into ayenzayo, ufaka imali yakho per month bazokuchargela ukuthi nje ba-maintainer or bagaldele imali yakho. So there is a fee for maintaining your bank account. There is a fee yokuthi muya emshinini uyokhipha imali yakho isebenzile wathi ngiyayibeka la, sebezokuchargela ukuthi uyayithatha imali yakho. Why? It's to make money. They're creating their own wealth for their own children and generations to come. Loya 800 ubufake ebank uzothola ukuthi isungcozuliwe, sekuphume mhlambe u20 rand okuthi ugade i-account yakho, akusesiyo 800, seku 708. Uzothi muyo withdrawa bayacharge futhi imali yokuthi wena uya withdraw emshinini. Yibona nje ababeku-advise ukuthi unga-withdrawa noma yinini, kodwa akekho kusabsile ukuthi bhasobhe mu-withdrawa usenayo le mali ocabanga ukuthi unayo, sekweyethu. So we need to be careful of those things, unnecessary spending. And that is why even in the journey of creating your wealth, make sure that you buy stuff that you really need, not the stuff that is nice to have, especially at the early stages, because awukabi nayo imali to spend that much. Never spend more than the 70% of your earnings or of your salary if it's your earnings are from a salary. Ikweletu sengishila si avoid. Pray that you're not settled by people aba negative, by people who will confuse you, by people who will mislead you in your journey to creating your wealth. Because as you change your path, kunabangani okuzofanele ubalahle, kunabangani okuzofanele udevelop i-friendship nabo ozobadinga on your journey to achieving the goal you want to achieve. So abanye bazokudukisa mebebona ukuthi hayibo uyakhula ngespeed, bazoqala bakufaka ideas ukuthi, oh, you shouldn't be in this house, you shouldn't be living in this area, you shouldn't be driving that car, you shouldn't be wearing that shoe, ngoba ubona ukuthi fanele bona abahlulekayo. Don't be fooled. Umona bashiye, don't listen to them. Listen to your plan, listen to God, and listen to the people who are determined to make you succeed in your journey of creating your wealth. So ungayilaleli nje peer pressure. Bangakhuluma bakhulume, the aim is to bring you back to the circle of failures. You don't want to be there. That's why you created the plan to rescue yourself, ukuthi uphume ukwazi ukuyimela, so that one day iChina mithatha over ube umuntu ongaswele kakhulu, umuntu ongezukukhala, because right now bonke abantu bayakhala imisebenzi iphelile, ama-strategies ethu are wrong. Ngakho ukuthi sine lockdown ka 1 month kodwa sesiyakhala sonke sisebenza yithi akusasurviveki, because our strategy was wrong. And I was never lucky to find anybody to teach me about finance, ukuthi yazi kufanele ngabe wenze nje to create money. And there are some people who are gifted with that idea, who can make money and become successful. The greatest thing, you don't need a PhD, you don't need masters, you don't need diploma, you don't need anything to get that knowledge. Lufune, funda incwadi eyibhaliwe, khuluma nabantu aba-successful ukuthi benze kanjani, bheka ukuthi what do they share. People like Oprah, people like Omam Mkhize South Africa, bheka ukuthi benze njani kuze nawe uphumelele. Akusho ukuthi iba uMam Mkhize wesibili, but you take the principles abawasebenzisile ukuba successful and use them, incorporate them in your strategy so that kuzophela. Asibe nehabit yokubhala ama-wills. I-will eyokuthi noma ungafa umncane noma ungafa umdala, but i-wealth yakho ayibelongi kwi-state, ngoba manje mushona yonke into yakho ibelonga kwi-state. Sekufanele ulokhu uhamba o-master court uyofuna usizo lokudistributha i-estate kulaba basele phela, hayi wena ofile ukudistribute i-estate. And ngokuthi sekugcwele ukuhlupheka ezweni lethu nobugebengu sebukhona even kuwo labo master court, uthola ukuthi umuntu usezofuna ukubribwa ukuthi initiate application yakho, i-bribing ye-lawyer ukuthi i-summarize ama-finances akho, mhlambe ifihla amanye or whatever the case may be. Kodwa iba ne-will where you clarify ukuthi what to do with your assets. Indlu yakho kwenzakalani ngayo, imoto yakho, imali yakho, ingubo zakho, whatever onakho, so that the people aba-dependent kuwena bangastruggleishi musuhambile. Let's have that will. I-will ngingathi maybe ungakhuthali ukuyibhala nabantu base-bank, because i-bank is looking after their own interest, ukuthi bona what do they stand to gain. Funa i-lawyer ezokusiza ngokubhala leyo will, or any notaries aba-officially abavunyelwe officially ukuthi banga-witnessa i-will yakho, bakugayide kahle. Maningi nama-companies these days asizayo ngama-will, you can google that and find it out. Kodwa sizame ukwenza ama-habits a-right ngemali. Imali muyithola, no matter how small or how big, awuzibheke ukuthi uyenze njani. Khona abantu ukuthi methola nje u-500 selishona ilanga usekho lo 500, but umuthi uyambuza, can you journal ukuthi how did you spend that 500? Akazi ngisho ukwazi ukuthi wenze njani, akakwazi ngisho ukujustify into ayaziyo ukuthi akasenawo, useyafisa the next day ngathi ngakhona umuntu omupha le mali. So muthola imali awuhlale phansi ucabange, awukungayispendi the same day, awulale nje ikhona esandleni sakho, esikhwameni sakho, or in your bank account, so as to give yourself time to think on how are you going to spend it. But in actual fact, your spending should go down and investing go up. More so ngoba isimo somnotho sesinje, as-investe, asiyeke ukulokhu esicaluze iy'tolo siyothenga izinto ezi-useless, siyothenga iy'mpahla ey'gcwalisa indlu ezingasiy'gqoki. I'm one of those people othanda ukuthenga icathulo, ingubo. Uthole at the end, you don't need all of that. You don't need 30 dresses per month. Noma ngabe inyanga ino-30 days, uyithola ukuthi awugqokanga iy'mpahla eziwu-30 ey'hlukene. Kuba nalezo oy'thandayo olokhu ubona ubuyela kuzona, whether because they are comfortable or they are easy to manage or whatever the reason may be. Kodwa cut off unnecessary spending. Live your life simple. Simplify your life, because waqala wayishintsha impilo yakho musubona ukuthi kunama-earnings angenayo kwi-investment yakho, busuthi hayi sengiyasuka kule ndawo ngiyohlala lapha. Remember, i-plan yakho was based la ukhona, so musuyikhulisa i-spending, kusho ukuthi ne-investment yakho kufanele ikhule manje ngoba akusa-communicate lezo zinto. So asiqaphele lezo zinto ukuthi singayifaki enkingeni ye-lifestyle ezosigqilaza. Phila i-lifestyle ozokwazi ukuyi-maintainer even on retirement, kuze ungaphili usudatshukelwa abantu ukuthi hey wayephila right, userithayile, useyadabukisa, because your planning was wrong, your strategy was wrong. And they say when you build your wealth, it should be enough, noma ukwazi ukuthi si-enough, it should cover the next 2 generations. If iphelela next month, that is not the right strategy. Usadinga umuntu ozokusiza akufundise how to save it. Okay ke, asibonisane ngokuzayo. Ngiyabonga, bye bye.